Hey everyone, welcome back to Fed Up with me, the eternal miserable one, Fed Up Gaz. Joining me today are at the plates, Tony, Tyler, and Mario. How is it going today, guys?
Good. Good day.
Hey, is your tummy holding up well from the food? At the plates. Any bad meals?
Always. I just had chicken cordon bleu and Parmesan and garlic, green beans, and potatoes. Very good. Went down very well.
Oh, share, man, share, definitely. I have one ongoing 24-hour meal. It never stops. There's not much food I don't like, to be honest. I'll pretty much eat whatever. Could you all then...
You should join our band then.
Oh, that was me. Don't know what contribution it could do other than tell you if the food's good or not. That's pretty much it, probably. the food taster. Just for those tuning in, could you tell us a little bit about each of your roles within the band as well?
Okay. So I do guitars, bass, and drums. And I'm basically like the main songwriter of the band. And I founded the band in 2018.
Nice.
I do lead guitar. I do vocals. I take the concepts that Tony gives me and I flesh them out. Or if he already has lyrics right now, gonna write them out in a way that flows. The way that I kind of like to do lyrics. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am going to try and behave myself because I can see in the background what looks like some action figures, Mario, and I'm not sure if that's quite clear. If that's possibly Wolverine on one of the shelves, is it?
No.
Yeah,
so I've got a bunch of Power Ranger stuff.
Oh,
hell yeah!
Don't worry, I will ask you about the bands.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
Leonidas and Death Star.
Oh, sick.
A weed nug that someone crocheted, and then this is from like an anime that I like. That's not particularly popular, but yeah.
Oh, nice, dude! I literally just started watching Captain Laserhawk on Netflix. I need to finish it, but I've got about 2 episodes down. I'm a colossal nerd, man. I've got loads of Power Rangers myself, which no one will probably be surprised about. So as soon as my eyes honed in straight away, I thought, and at first I thought, is that Wolverine? Just for a second. Anyway, I'll behave myself for a short while, which probably won't last very long, but whatever. So the hilarious thing, we've got to start with when I got this promo from Curtis, and it came. I remember it arrived in my inbox, and it said "at the plates," and I looked, and I just started laughing instantly, and I thought this is just hilarious. And because I'm an extremely silly person, very eccentric, I thought this is my deal. I mean, we'll do a deep dive on the songs as well, which the song title is hilarious. Can't wait to ask you about them. But what inspired, the obvious at the gates, but the other thing, what inspired the name At the Plates? Were you cooking something in the kitchen and did that food explode and it was a bad experience for food? So, all right, got to make something angry about food.
Honestly, I wish it was that cool and extravagant. The thing is, it just kind of started as an inside joke. I've always been a big At the Gates fan and just a fan of melodic death metal in general. And I also love to eat. So I was joking around with a buddy of mine, and I was kind of coming up with these ridiculous, outlandish food puns on death metal song titles. And then one day during one of my crazy rotisserie brain thoughts, I was just kind of thinking okay, what can I do at the gates? Plates rhymes with gates. And it was like a eureka moment, which is extremely stupid, but that's how my brain works, I guess. So At the Plates was born. So basically it existed as a concept all the way back as 2015, 2016. But then in 2018, after I left one of my old bands, Grethor, I decided to actually do something with it. And the rest is history.
So what did you both think, Mario and Tyler, when you got this pitch for, hey man, I'm starting up a band, and it's called At the Plates. I mean, what went through your minds when you said?
I think the moment I was like, all right, I want in, was Anthony was going through some song titles, and it's like, instead of pull the plug, we got pull the pork. And at that point, I'm sold. Count me in.
So Tyler, I'm sorry. I should let Mario answer this question first.
I mean, I'm a big foodie. I cook all the time, and I think that's part of the reason why, like, I post like my Instagram, like food pictures and stuff like that.
This guy, I don't know if I'm pointing. This guy's a great fucking cook. Like, I follow him on Instagram and everything, and I see the stuff that he makes in his kitchen, and like he is a food guru. This guy. So
I just know how to follow directions. You just look it up online. You just do what it says, and I've always enjoyed doing that. I've been cooking since I was very young. I'm from Peru, and like I kind of grew up cooking with my mom and stuff like that. So it's always been, and then food and death metal. So I was like, oh, makes sense.
Yeah, just flows so nice, doesn't it? Yeah. Man, like I say, having one ongoing 24-hour meal, which I always have, I just thought, oh man, yeah, totally down with this. So there was something you wanted to add, Tony, before Mario's answer.
Oh, actually, yeah. So Tyler and I used to play in a band called Omnivore, and during one of the car rides after our one of our shows, because I think we like shared the same car, right? Like we were all like coming back in Mike's car, his truck. So we were. I was just coming out with like these ridiculous like song titles and stuff, and like we all were just like busting our guts laughing and shit. But one other thing I actually did want to say is I've known both Tyler and Mario for a very long time. Like I said, Tyler and I used to play in the same band. And Mario and I actually have known each other for like, what has it been, dude? Like 13 years at this point?
Yeah, something like that.
Like we were both, he's in a band called Radamanthus, which is an awesome melodic technical death metal band.
Oh, nice.
They've been around for a fucking long time, since like what, 2007, guys?
2009 or 2008, something like that.
2009. So I was also in a band called Orgy of the Damned. I was their drummer. So like we both were pretty much kind of like closely tied and stuff like that. We played some shows together, and we were all like basically like we were like Radamanthus is like our connection to like the Maryland scene, because we were in Virginia. So
Right.
I both have history with these guys, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted them to work with me on this, not just because they're really fucking great at what they do, but also because I know them on a personal level, and like they're good dudes, and I really like working with them.
It's as crazy as this question may sound, appreciate, and that's great. Obviously want that close, good working relationship for the band, but was it as well important to have then people that appreciate the humor as well?
Absolutely. I mean, if they don't really understand like what the point of the band is, then it's just not good. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It just won't fit, So they have to have like they have to kind of get the humor of it, while also being able to like perform the music and be reliable, and communicate. That's the most important thing too, is communication. These guys are great communicators. I've had issues with that before in previous bands, so it's definitely like one of my big qualifications if I were to ever bring anybody else on board, is like, are you a good communicator? Because I don't like to be left holding my dick in my hand. You know what I mean?
Well, no one does. It has to be the tenet for any kind of relationship. You've got to have that effective, clear communication. If you don't, things just absolutely collapse like a badly constructed meal. Yes, I'm going to purposely make food references throughout the show.
Perfect.
I normally like to start off looking at the artwork with guests, who did it, which I will do. But before that, I've got to comment because this is just hilarious. One of the press one of the press photos. It's got all three of you. With the, literally plates in front of you with food, and I love it. You've got like a pastry on the left, then you've got like what looks like butter in the middle, and then something actually that looks really nice on the right hand side, which yes, I actually want. Mary, you're gonna have to make me some of that, man. I want to eat it. I'm probably gonna get
Actually, you don't, because it ended up being like an experiment with some like a vegan dish, and it's supposed to be like puff pastry, but obviously puff pastry has butter in it, and we ended up getting phyllo dough, and we made this thing, and we cooked it just following the original instructions, really not thinking about it too much, and then I started eating it, and immediately I threw it up like not even 30 seconds afterwards. My body was like, no. And like it was like just undercooked dough that I'd eaten a bunch of, but it had this like cream cheese inside, so I thought it was just cream cheese because it was like just wet. Like I think the concept was good. It was this like pastry with like cream cheese and herbs and stuff. But that specific one was not that great, and but I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a picture in front of it because thematically it fits.
Yeah, bit of enough. I love the picture. It's absolutely hilarious. So I've got to ask, what's the reception been like to the picture? I mean, people must have laughed for sure.
Well, honestly, your comment's like the first I've ever heard about the photo. So you get the distinct honor of being the first person to comment on the photo. But I'm glad you appreciate it, man. Because it was actually Tyler's idea.
Yeah, I thought it kind of reminded me of like photos from like an old Carcass album where they're basically on the slab in a different different variation. I thought us doing that, like covered in food and whatever, it would be funny, but easier to just have something on a plate. And we had a lot of fun with it, I think.
Yeah, and it's cool you mentioned carcass because I can hear that in the sound as well. Bits of carcass, cattle decapitation as well at the gates. That's all coming through.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. But the actual the album artwork, the official one, which you've got a tree, you've got looks like cattle skulls on top of the tree. There's fruit laid out very pretty. I think there's there's a pig's head. There's like a face on the tree as well. Like
you mean this?
Also, do you know? And I don't mean to insult you here. Also, it kind of if I hadn't known you were a death metal band. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hey. It's got like quite a psychedelic stoner rock vibe, actually. You know, on the artwork that I'm used to seeing. So I just wondered who did that for you, and did you work together on the ideas, and did you pick the colors as well?
Yeah. So the artist who did the artwork, his name is Nicholas Sundin. He is, for those of you guys who are watching who don't know him, he's most well known for being the founding guitarist of Dark Tranquillity. He used to play in the band until I think 2018, 2019 maybe. But he's also done artwork for a legion of well-known metal bands, Arch Enemy, In Flames. He's done all the artwork for every Dark Tranquillity album. I think he's a phenomenal artist. I've worked with him before when I was in Grethor, and because this album is meant to be like it's very melodic death metal influence, so I figured he would be like the perfect fit for an album like this. I took a little bit of convincing at first because he thought like it was just like a total joke, but when I explained that the concept had a little bit more depth to it, he was on board. So I was very glad to be able to work with him. He was my first choice. I did pick out the colors. We did experiment with a few ideas, but what you saw in the final result is what won me over. The concept behind the tree, right? I'm glad you said it had like a psychedelic stoner vibe to it because I wanted it to be a little bit different from like like a traditional death metal color. Well, while still having some death metal elements like the blood around the tree and stuff, like the carcasses hanging off the tree. You know, like it was Nicholas's idea to use like the cow skulls, where I was going to have just kind of like raw cow heads, which might look a little bit goofy, but instead I think like the cow skulls make it more like sinister, you know. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent
Oh,
here.
it's all right. You feel free.
The tree itself is meant to represent us. We're basically the omnivore. You know, like when we're growing up from like, you know, infancy to adulthood, we basically feed off of, you know, both animals and vegetation, right? So, and the major theme behind this album, which is a little bit more serious than we probably should be, but whatever, is you are what you eat. And I wanted to explore this concept because I did not take very good care of myself in my 20s. So I had some health complications a few years back. And it really kind of forced me to make some lifestyle changes and examine how I was treating myself before. So for this album, I really wanted to explore that as like a concept that would fit at the plate. So that's where I came up with, you know, like the "you are what you eat." And that just kind of flowed naturally to the idea of the tree, which I thought would look cool. You know, like you have sort of like the you know, the fruits, the vegetables, and the animals, right, hanging off the tree, like you said. And then if you actually look, because I have the digipack with me, if you actually look at the whole panoramic, you'll see like a couple of withered trees and stuff in the back.
Yeah.
So that's meant to represent the people that like eat nothing but like junk food and fast food and shit like that. You know, like where basically there's like no like nutritional value in what they eat, and they're just abusing their body, then they're going to end up like that, you know. And this is not me saying like, you know, go on a diet, or, you know, we're not judging anybody for like, you know, their bodies, or that's not what we're after. We don't believe in fat shaming or any bullshit like that. But I do believe that there is something to be said about trying to live your life in more of a balance, you know. Like, yeah, you can eat that, you know, McDonald's meal or whatever, you can eat that cheeseburger, but also like maybe try to eat some fruit and some vegetables, you know, with it. So that way, like, you know, your body kind of needs that shit, you know. I just wish I took better care of myself in my 20s, you know. Not trying to make it a sob story or anything, but
not at all.
I wanted to channel that as kind of like my inspiration into making this album. So it has like it comes from a personal place. It's not just me saying like you know, like, oh, go do this, do that. You know, it's just something for people to think about.
Do you think I'm glad you you shared that, because I was going to actually ask you the inspiration around the title of the album as well, and you know, we'll do a deep dive on the songs as well. But I got that sense that you were saying to strive for a balance. Do you think kind of raising awareness around this of better eating, of taking care of yourself, and trying to maintain that balance, you think doing it in with the comedy way as well, that's kind of helps? So someone might think, oh well, this guy or gal is being really preachy at me, you know. I think it's allowed you to get that message out there. I'm just wondering.
Yeah. So basically, we didn't want to make a completely serious album because we figured like that would just be stupid, you know, for a band called At the Plates. And again, we didn't want to be overly preachy about it either. That's why we were a little bit more subtle about it, like in the lyrics. We wanted to present it more like still in a more lighthearted way. There is like one song that deals directly with that theme and is more on the serious side. That's kind of the more direct song. But you know, other than that, you know, the rest are just kind of like, you know, different scenarios, but they all kind of tie back to the central theme in its own way. Like for example, in like Punish My Waistline, that deals with like something that we all struggle with, which is like, you know, our negative body image, you know, like sort of that stress we feel with weight gain. I know exactly what that's like because I'm a big dude. You know, I struggle with weight. So it's like, you know, it's meant to be like, you know, like we get it, we get how shitty it is, you know, um, and then incarnated syrup abuse, which is more meant to be like a funny, you know, thing about a guy who drinks too much maple syrup. You know, you think about it, we do consume a lot of sugar, you know,
Yeah,
especially in our country too. You know, like there's a huge
same
amount of
here.
sugar consumption. You know, corn syrup is found in almost every food that you buy. You know, it's anyway. I don't know if
Right.
anybody else wanted to add on top of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for incarnate syrup abuser, there's definitely some parallels with like just like addiction and like just sitting at home and just drinking, you know, sugar, but like alcohol is kind of very similar parallel. And then what he was saying, like the other really serious one, terminal fillet disease. Like if you look at the booklet, like you know, you'll see that most of them have these kind of short, concise lyrics, and terminal fillet disease is just like wall of text. I just like went all out on that one.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I really do want to give a shout out to Mario here because he took the concepts that I gave him and he like really fleshed them out very well, and he's a great lyricist. Like I honestly really enjoyed reading the lyrics that he came up with. I think he's got like a great like sense of rhythmic flow as a vocalist, and he sounds fucking awesome. I mean, as I'm sure you've heard. Yeah.
You know what's cool as well? It's like with comedians at times through comedy, you can even like have a social commentary in a way, in a very smart way, hidden
Yeah.
within the humor. Like Bill Burr, you know, I think it's fantastic. I absolutely cry with tears of the stuff he comes out with. And you're definitely right about the sugar in food, because even all the so-called healthy food that they sell, you go in a supermarket and you look at the sugar content on everything, and this is supposed to be, oh yeah, this is the ultra light edition or healthy edition, and you look at it, man, and it can be overpriced, more expensive, say, than the regular edition, and sometimes have the same level of sugar or even more. And say when you buy a lesser brand, and the sugar content will be even lower. It's like well, they've stopped doing it so much to a point, but I was going to say like the fast food places were well known for, oh, we get one of our salads and it's absolutely full of sugar. I mean, yeah, I can. It's like, you know, when you see as well the hot dog eating contest with those dudes eating like 50 million hot dogs, as much as they make me laugh and I think, man, this is hilarious. I think, well, aside from, it wouldn't be hilarious for the toilet, the bathroom visits afterwards, but I think, man, that can't be good, consuming that amount of garbage and that going in your body.
No, I mean, like, especially when I found out what hot dogs are made of, it like turned me off to them, like, forever. You know, I mean, again, like, we're not trying to be like, oh, you shouldn't eat hot dogs ever. You know, it's just like, you know, eat hot dogs, but also, you know, maybe think about trying to eat some other like healthier stuff too to balance it out. You know,
it's like I feel very passionate about alcohol abuse and alcohol addiction because I've seen that in my own family of what that can do and how that can destroy families as well. It's all right, man. Thank you. Now, I'm not saying for a minute that no one should ever, you know, drink anything, but like you were saying, just a balance, just have that balance. The danger is sometimes people can go way past the limit. So they'll be drunk and then they'll go past that to a point where they're paralytic through it, and then that really damages them. And if they keep doing that over a long period, that does catch up with the body and it can have serious consequences. So no, I think you're right about balance, and you worry about this is fed up. It's freedom of expression. So, you know, you go away, it's all good on here. Just to kind of lighten it up a little bit, you know, on the humorous side.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. No, I'm going to balance. I'm going to go between it. I'm just trying to behave myself, because if I start laughing and getting hyper on all the titles, that'll be it. It'll be like people just watching me laugh for whatever. Be like, what's going on here? The way the album starts. When I listened to it, dude, I was laughing from the start, because with their cutlets, and you can hear someone like lighting up the gas. And I loved it. I thought this is hilarious. So, I've got to ask, how many takes did it take putting the whole album together? Because you must have all had some giggles.
A lot, but not because I was laughing. I mean, so when I do come up with the song titles, like some of them I come up with, I do have a laugh to myself, because it's just like, oh my god, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've come up with yet. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know what the other guys.
I definitely had spent many, like, I'm pretty good at like not laughing during the take, but when I'm like writing it, or when I'm like demoing stuff, I'm just like sitting in my room, like in the dark, like hee, like let's go do that. Like the one that always like kills me is the from Rose 40, the clapping alien cheeks. Like that was, oh man, when I came up with that, I was like, yes.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is fucking hilarious. Like I had a good like laugh for a minute there when I saw that. I was like, holy fuck, dude. He's the one.
The dude, that is so funny as well, because as we know, Roswell 47, the famous case, when I read about it.
Exactly.
I can't even talk. And I just thought, man, this is so funny, like extraterrestrial food. So, oh man, wouldn't that be such? Look, I watch loads of those mystery programs and UFO shows as well, and man, I can just see it now. If a dude comes on one of those shows one time, look, no, it wasn't. What's the real problem is it's food from outer space. This is the real menace. It's just some like alien chef there. Oh man. So with that opener, with the I'll try and contain myself here. Breathe, guys. With their cutlets, he'll marinate. What inspired the title for that opener, and how did you put the music together for it as well?
Okay, so with their cutlets, that's a parody of Gorguts' "With Their Flesh Shall Create," and I fucking love Gorguts. So, and I thought that it was funny enough where I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's make that one of the album songs. So as far as putting it together goes, I was basically just fucking around on freesound.org. That's usually where I go to download like royalty-free samples and stuff like that. And I came across that, and I was like, I like the idea of using that as like something to open the album up with, because it's like it has this dynamic sense to it where it's like building up to something. Like it starts with like the flicker of the gas stove, and then it stops, then it starts up. It's kind of like in a live show where like, a band like starts playing an intro to a song, like maybe it's like, through like a backing track, and then it like slows down and like warps out, and like the audience is just like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And then it comes back on and everybody loses their shit. It's like that sense of anticipation, and then it has like the marinara being boiled and the guy chopping up stuff and like, scraping it into the pan. And then we get to like the opening chords and stuff like that. So like I really like the idea of using that as an intro. As far as the rest of the songs go, or the rest of the song goes, I basically just kind of wanted to do something that was going to be like, fast, heavy, opens up the album, has like some more technical riffs in it. Like I was kind of inspired by like God Dethroned, a little bit of Gorguts, of course, in that song For Good Measure, Black Dahlia Murder. And then there's this hilarious part actually where the song slows down and Tyler has this like solo going, and then Mario does his best Dave Mustaine impersonation over it. Mario, do you want to talk about that part?
Sure. I mean, like the whole concept when I started fleshing that out, I was like thinking of this like if you're cooking and you're kind of thinking to yourself like you want the finest ingredients, and so like this person is like going through this like posh neighborhood treating it like their own butcher shop. So like I was like thinking of all these kind of like archetype characters of people that you might cut up and use them as different cuts of meat. And I don't know what made me like do that Mustaine impression for that, but I was like, this fits, and I just started like when I demo stuff, I literally just like stream of consciousness sort of thing. I just like start saying stuff. Like I'll usually think about the pattern before I put words to it, so I'll just start like just going like nah, and like to like the different beat or whatever, and I'll record that, and then I'll start saying words, and I'll play it back like a million times. I just like the way that like that chord is just like one long chord. It's like where it starts that section. It really felt like a presentation. Like it slowed down and it was like, here you go. And I started thinking like almost like a circus performer, like ladies and gentlemen, like we're here. And then I was like, well, what voice would be really funny? And then I think I just tried to do like a gritty voice, and I was like, that kind of sounds like Dave Mustaine. And then I like leaned into it. And then it turned out the way it did, and I just thought it was really funny. Like I think that was like the first take I did of that, and I just like kept it, and I was like, that's great. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, that was an absolute hilarity. It really was. There's other moments as well on the album which we'll get to. So Tyler, was you the same when you are recording the music for it? Then you go into business mode, work mode, and a focus, and then afterwards, like laugh back at what you've just done.
When Anthony, I don't know if I don't think it was the final guitar tracks that I would like do leads over. It might have just been scratch tracks because he would just send me kind of a skeleton of the song, like just song titles, no lyrics or anything on it, and maybe kind of the type of lead he was looking for with that. He's the chef after all. I just do my best. I figure once I think it sounds good, many takes later, I'll send it to Anthony, see what he thinks. He'll send it back, or so I didn't hear the final product until fairly recently after all the vocals and stuff got put on. So it was cool to hear what everyone did with all that.
It's such what struck me about the album as well is it's got the classic death metal ferocity. The musicianship is good. It's still heavy and moshable, but it is utterly hilarious. I mean, the next track, Kitchen Gone. I'd love to hear what inspired the title, the lyrics for this one. Music. I feel I'm still going to be laughing for every single song here, but.
Okay, so the IRL inspiration for Kitchen Gone was, and this is partially the same for terminal fillet disease. So after the release of Starch Enemy, there was this guy who worked for Bandcamp Daily. I don't know if he still does now. His name's Jay Bennett. He contacted me saying he wanted to do an interview. And like for Bandcamp Daily, I was like, fuck yes, because I love Bandcamp. So we had the interview. He put out this really like kind article, talking about like, at the plates, and like I was super grateful for it. He was a wonderful dude for doing that. But what he did was even cooler. He actually knows Thomas Lindbergh from At the Gates.
Ooh.
So he sent him our shit, and Thomas actually liked it. Yeah, he said it was like pretty refined stuff, and even like teased about the possibility of posting about us on social media. I mean, it never happened, and nor were they under on any obligation to. But it was still cool to really get that acknowledgement, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was kind of thinking, you know, for this next album, I kind of want to, you know, riff on some, you know, at the gates based song titles as like a nod to Thomas Lindbergh and the band, because I really do appreciate that recognition. It was a really cool moment. Now, as far as the band inspiration goes, well, we wanted to do a song about like first of all, I love the show Kitchen Nightmares. I love anything with Gordon Ramsay in it. He's a national treasure. No, fuck that. He's a global treasure. And so I thought it'd be interesting as a concept to talk about a song where a chef actually loses his kitchen because he doesn't take care of it. He doesn't follow code. Like his kitchen is filthy. And I work in commercial property real estate, or commercial property accounting. So like I've heard horror stories about some properties of ours that just have absolutely filthy kitchens that fail fire code compliance inspections. It's really bad. So, you know, that's kind of where I gave it to Mario, and Mario fleshed it out in his fantastic Mario way. So Mario, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
Yes. So it's, you know, similar process. I just like listen to it. I think about where I want like the patterns. Yeah, it's funny. Like I spent so much time with those songs, but like as soon as I like finished it, like I don't listen to it.
Yeah.
So like I know for that one, like it's this person like getting revenge because they're coming to shut him down, but like he just wants to cook, and that's all like all he really cares about, and that's, you know, that's why he doesn't care about the cleaning and all that other stuff, because this person's just like hyper focused on making food, you know, things that only he can do, and he's like preparing his last meal, and he's got, you know, extra ingredients because he's gonna like kill everyone. And so yeah, that's how that one turned out.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty death metal.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
Psycho Chef. It's funny, the other image that comes to my mind when I was listening to the album as well, and I was, you know, before chatting to you here, and I thought, I wonder at the time, I thought this has been inspired by any bad food as well at places, because anyone who's been to go to any festival, the garbage that you have to live on for that weekend at festivals is absolutely disgusting. And the first thing you want to do when you get back home, aside from actually have a decent shower, is eat something real, like something that isn't none of this like fast food garbage, just some real actual food. That's the only thing I hear about festivals, is having to live on that. There was one year I went to one, and there was a dude there with had like a real food fan, I guess. It was like oats, meat, all sorts of different stuff, but it was all real. He had the busiest stall there the whole weekend. It was just busy from 9 to 10. I thought, yeah, because it's actually real decent, nice stuff. It's not having to get up some like deformed burger, which you know, like, I don't want to eat this. This just looks rank from the start. And it's like, you know, as soon as you've ate, like, straight away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there is there used to be there was a club here that knocked down. I used to play a local metal club, and they used to nickname kind of like the fast food van outside of it. They used to call it the Rat Burger van. So you can imagine what the food looked like that was on offer. Oh, it was horrible, man.
Gross.
So get into, I mean, this one, imagine there's, I mean, it's got a hilarious title again, like all of them, but probably, as you were alluding to, Tony, earlier, a serious message behind it as well. So I'm going to try and do a kind of two-part approach to this, I guess. Punish My Waistline. It's an absolute hilarious one. So again, what inspired the title for this one, and is there also that bit of a serious message with this song?
Okay, so I have a list of song titles. I should have let off with that from the start. So I have a Word document with like a list of potential song titles to use in the future, just because I have a lot of fun with it and I love wordplay. So It's
Yeah.
just something I do when I'm bored. So when I came up with Punish My Waistline, that was just one of those that just made me crack up for like a solid minute. So I was like, okay, I've got to put this in.
Yeah.
And then as we were developing the lyrics and themes, the lyrics aren't meant to be like super serious. It's
Yeah.
more like sort of the message behind the song, like the hidden, like, and how it ties to the theme. Like, again, we were trying to be a little bit more subtle about it, because we still want people to have a good time and laugh about it. But like when you walk away from it, like, maybe you have a little something to think about afterwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, with Punish My Waistline, like I said, I've struggled with weight almost all my life. Like there are lots of other people who have had the same issue. They might have negative self body image, and this song is kind of like, it's kind of meant to be something that maybe like they can relate to, and maybe like, get some like solidarity out of it or something like that, to show them like, they're not alone in dealing with that struggle.
Do you feel weight struggle is still do you think it's still taken seriously enough by the medical industry? And then the other problem I've just realized as I'm asking this question, then do you think as well we've seen a lot of people come in and take advantage of people in that position, like with, sign them up for gyms, exercise programs, but it's being more concerned with the monetary value than actually helping people. I'm not saying that about all gyms, but I've noticed there's some of those schemes as well. So I just wondered what your thoughts were on that, Tony.
I mean, I think there's definitely still like, a predatory kind of nature to some gyms in that degree. And I do think that doctors don't take overweight people as seriously as they should in general. Usually they dismiss a lot of their problems as just being overweight rather than trying to look deeper into the issue. And I'm not saying that being overweight doesn't cause its problems, because it does. It absolutely does. But, I feel like doctors, that's just kind of their go-to, rather than like trying to maybe exhaust other options first. And doctors, some of them do judge you for being overweight in a sense.
Yeah.
And when you look at like the BMI, index, like here in the States, I don't know if it's different for you in the UK, but
we're pretty much we're the same as you.
Yeah. So like according to my BMI, like I'm obese, right? But like, I'm not. I never looked at myself as like being like obese, like the kind of people you see on TV. So it's like, and I've heard there's problems with the BMI index too. Like it doesn't account for like muscle mass and stuff like that. Like I'm not an expert on this, so nor am I trying to claim to be. But that's just what I've heard. So.
Yeah, the same. We have now. I think we're one of the most, as I say, obese nations in Europe. So we're very much the same as you, as our American cousins in that regard. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you that question as well, because I've heard, and again, this isn't to say all doctors, but some are just easily not recognizing it as a problem, brushing it under the carpet too much. Then there's the predatory aspect with some gyms, I feel taking advantage of people in vulnerable positions. And sometimes I feel, well, if this person is struggling, or it's just, the most, I can relate to this from some family members. I think the most horrible thing anyone can say is when they say, "Oh, just lose some weight," and I'm like, it's not that easy. It really isn't. It can't just, I'll just lose it just like that. And then there's some people who have that. I can't remember the medical terminology for it, but it is something where they, even without eating, they naturally. I think they naturally put on a lot of weight. They're naturally very, very big. And then sadly, whatever they eat contributes to that. And I think, look, there's a drug going around at the moment, which a lot of the celebrities are using, and I believe it's an injection. and they're losing weight overnight so easily, but it is so expensive. So the only people who can access this is obviously the rich and famous, because it's probably like $800 a go or something, and which, for one jab there, which real regular people, we just don't have that kind of income.
I mean, and that same issue applies even to like food and stuff.
Yeah.
Eating healthy is expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and get,
Yeah.
Poorer
It's fucked up
places
how
where
expensive
all
it
that's
is.
around is McDonald's and shit.
That's the big issue, I feel, when they're promoting a healthy food. As I say, if aside from the sugar count, it's more expensive. Then you'll see on TV or whatever, they'll promote the garbage food or the candy or whatever, and that'll be cheap. And I'm like, shouldn't this be the other way around? Shouldn't they make the healthy food more accessible in the terms of not so expensive, instead of then, especially if it's someone struggling, because it is like it can become like an addiction in a way, how people can become addicted to food and eating that unhealthy food and feeling the chemical effects from it as well. So to help reduce that addiction, it should be priced accordingly. But of course, everything is greed and profit driven. I know I'm going on a tangent.
I mean, it's not like an addiction.
Away, dude.
It is an addiction. Like food addiction is very real. The body, we're not designed to have all this food available to us. Like when we eat sugar and fats, like our body is like, yeah, we need this to survive, but like we didn't evolve to have all this available to us, and having it just right there. And a lot of the fast food, there's a lot of like bait and switch. It started off super cheap. They got an entire country, like world population, addicted to the stuff. And now, like, people go in and have a burger, have a cheeseburger, have fries, all that stuff, and it's really easy for that to happen, because we have to eat, but like having something that's not cheap and available like makes it very common. The other thing I wanted to add in is I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but like a lot of the major brands, I mean, I would say most of the major food brands, their parent company is like the cigarette companies, like Philip Morris, like Kraft, like all those brands that have like the junk food, like mac and cheese, hot dog, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like 99% of it is owned by like cigarette companies. And what do? Like they prey on addiction. And like knowing that like cigarettes, like the laws are coming to like cut that down, make it more expensive, make it more restrictive. Like what is it that they can't restrict? And like you can't restrict food. They've done there's some efforts to restrict, like to put like warnings on like high fat, high sugar, like caffeine, all sorts of things like that. But my opinion is the companies that are pushing this have such a stronghold in our like legal system as well, that I wouldn't expect any meaningful change to come as far as like forcing them to like not have this sort of thing. Like so yeah, it's like it's a big problem, and I couldn't even imagine how you go about starting to change that.
Yeah, and if you look from a historical perspective as well, I remember watching something on TV one time, and it was a documentary on the fall of the Soviet Union, and one of the first things to open there after the fall was a McDonald's, and now there's like a McDonald's everywhere around the world. So it's like getting people, as you were saying, Mario, addicted to this stuff. Because then there's the withdrawal symptoms people can have from not eating the bad food, because they're used to the effects they feel from that. And I still think comfort eating is often overlooked as well. If people are in a vulnerable position, whatever they're dealing with, and then they'll turn to that. Me myself, if I'm not training, this is a crazy thing. When I'm training, I don't touch any bad food at all. I still eat a lot. I always eating, but the minute I stop training, saying injured, that's when my diet will falter a bit. I'll be more susceptible to eating bad food. And where it's weird, when I'm training, I just don't touch it whatsoever. And it's, as you mentioned, Mario, about the tobacco companies behind a lot of these bad food. Something that's happening over here in the news at the moment is there've been some places have been selling vaping that's supposedly nicotine free, and they found out no, actually it hasn't been. It's had all the nicotine in there, and then of course there's been kids and people who've been getting addicted to it because it's still at the high levels of nicotine. And I mean, it could be a topic for a whole of the show in itself. But you're even getting in some unregulated vaping sources. This is what I'm referring to, where they're not sure where this stuff is from. Is it actually any healthier than the regular tobacco smoke? I'm talking about the unregulated version of vaping here. And I think, well, where someone can come and be a snake merchant, if you like, they will always try and exploit that tendency. So yeah. Getting back just a bit on your music for a moment or two. Terminal fillet disease. So again, I just wanted if you could tell us, all of you, about the inspiration for the title, the lyrics as well, and then how you all constructed the music for it.
Okay, so the title is kind of the same thing with Kitchen Gone. Just a nod to At the Gates.
Yeah.
But as we develop the song more, develop the lyrics, which I'll let Mario talk about. I'll have Mario talk about it, some more. I'm not going to speak too much on it, but basically, it was just kind of to highlight, the major theme and sort of the message that we wanted to convey, especially like the main takeaway of the song, which is, that, if you're not happy with yourself, it's never too late to change. It's never too late to make changes to your lifestyle so that you can feel good about yourself if you need to. And if you're overweight and you're happy with yourself, that's awesome. More power to you, This is for people who are just genuinely unhappy with themselves and need to make a change. And, it's kind of meant to, like the song starts off in a very minor key, very dark, and then towards the end of the song, after our guest vocalist, it gets very triumphant and more happy sounding. It's kind of meant to represent that shift in the mind, of like, it's like, oh God, like, this is we have this terrible epidemic in our country, like we're killing ourselves with food. But then it's also like, okay, well, if our body's our temple and our temple's crumbling, well, we have the bricks and the mortar. Let's put it back together, and there's resources for that. But honestly, it doesn't even have to be just about food. It could apply to anything else too, if you're unhappy with how you see yourself in general, you can change that. If you're unhappy with where you are, you can change that, it can apply to a lot of different things. But anyway, so, Mario, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but
conceptually, it is really just about like awareness and like being recognizing that your body that just doesn't just exist in the abstract. Like it responds and reacts to the things you do and the things you eat. Like you go out on a bender and you drink and you eat a bunch of shitty food, and you're not going to feel good the next day, and it'd be silly to expect it. And so like the song really goes into that, that we're an organic machine, like everything is just processes, and you have to, you're like, the food is the fuel to your body, and you put in like diesel in a non-diesel engine, that's not, you're going to destroy it. And so you start putting in bad food, things that aren't really serving you. Then like the body is just going to start breaking down. And then like even like towards the end of the song, like there's a section that I was just kind of looking at some scientific research journals and papers and stuff, and like reading things just to get some inspiration, maybe some words or interesting that I could get. And then I realized that, I can just read this word for word, like it's like straight up. Like I just started reading some statistics, and I made it fit in there, and because it all just kind of fit thematically. So like that's the one that because I also like have kind of struggled with my weight, feeling healthy, like feeling good and stuff. And I've like I was mentioning right before this, I was at the gym, and I try to cook my own food just to make sure I know what I'm like putting in my body. Like, not to say like I haven't had like Burger King like 5 times in the last 2 weeks, but you do what you can, and you try to make the effort, and it's like the awareness is really what matters. Is you can do this, but you have to do that.
I think like what you were saying earlier, Tony, it's striving to maintain that balance. No one is saying don't ever eat a Burger King. It's like moderation. The same with alcohol. No one is saying don't ever drink. It's like that limit. So if you say just have that Burger King once a week, you're okay. But if you're having that excessively, then that's not going to be good. It's not going to do you even your mental state not well, because it makes you feel sluggish, sick, horrible, no motivation for anything. Obviously, the good side of fitness, exercise, and even if it's just getting out there walking, because I feel often people will be, I can't afford to go to the gym. I can't face going and working out, doing that. I'll often say to people, just walk, start little steps, even if it's just walk around the block once, just build it up slowly. Walk it costs nothing. It's one of the best things to do. Obviously, don't go walking down a questionable alleyway that probably has bad food in there and bad people. That's not somewhere you want to walk.
That goes without saying, I think. No, I totally agree with that. We're not saying go to the gym or do these intense workouts. I mean, that does help, absolutely. But even if it's just something that's like getting 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, or just walking around more, just being a little bit more active, like that can do wonders for you in the long run. One of the things that as I'm in my 30s now, I'm painfully aware of is that I'm getting older, and that's something that I do think about. Is okay, it's what you eat is kind of what you're investing in yourself. Like you're investing into the grandpa version of you, so it's like where am I going to be at the end of my life? Am I going to be suffering, wishing I was dead, or am I going to be all right? Maybe my quality of life won't be so great, and I have accepted that, but it's not like I'm going to be bedridden or whatever. That's the goal.
Look, there's many examples we can cite from music and metal where no one is saying don't drink, don't do whatever. We're saying moderation, but if it's over excessive for a long period, it will catch up with that person. And sometimes you see very sad cases where it can be someone in music or whatever is an absolute shadow of themselves because they've drank, say, for 60 years, or they've done drugs for so long, whatever, and then they're in a really, really bad position. And I'll just say like this: it was a family member of ours, was an alcoholic, was warned to stop drinking excessively, and sadly he didn't, and it damaged him when he got too late in life, both physically and mentally. He developed lots of problems associated with it, and it was painful when one of the doctors said to us, if this drinking had been reduced earlier than what it was, and again, it's in steps. No one is expecting somebody, you're going to give up alcohol just like that overnight, or you're going to completely have a total 100% healthy diet. It's stages and balance. And it was sad to hear if if he'd have stopped drinking so excessively, he wouldn't have been in the position he was. And there's that. And I think as well, if like with food, if you could even have it where, and this is just my guesstimate here, where say 6 days a week, or like, and you could eat healthily and then have one bad day as like a treat day, if you like. The treat day is okay. Yeah, the cheat day. Like the hack, I guess, the cheat code for it.
Cheat code.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Oh no.
Everything's like, oh, this is the hack. This is the cheat mode for good living or whatever. This is the life hack. Like, okay, dude, calm the fuck down already.
Oh, dude, I could go on a whole rant on that, having to use buzzwords for everything just to get it across. Now I'm like, this isn't a word I want to use, but now I have to use. I'm like, get me started, man.
I really like just taking foods that I want to eat already and just like changing them up a bit in a way that allows me to eat it. Like, I'm a big cheeseburger guy. Like, I love cheeseburgers, and like just take the same stuff and you find better ingredients. You get like the leaner ground beef, you get the fat-free
Tastes better.
cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, I love bacon, but turkey bacon is pretty close, and you get, just the low calorie buns. You can eat 3-4 cheeseburgers and it's actually healthy food. And like that's what I live for. Like just trying to find things that I want to eat already and trying to make it fit like the lifestyle that I want.
Yeah, and it tastes so much better as well.
Absolutely.
It
Fresh,
tastes more
fresh
natural.
ingredients
Yeah.
always beats frozen.
Yeah.
I learned that from Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Oh, dude, his show clips are hilarious. Now they would make some good sound clips for any album for sure. With him going, "What are you effing doing? That looks like that."
Yeah, no, you gotta put "you fucking donkey" in one of them.
It's just,
Yeah.
when you see people in his kitchens and when he's going off of them, it's like some really angry sports coach. And like where you imagine, when we hear those stories of football teams, like at the end of a quarter, whatever, and the coach is going crazy at them. I'm like, it's just like some hyper angry NFL dude going off at people. Yeah, it's insane.
Hold on, just
Sorry.
sorry. I wanted to mention this actually. So I did use the Gordon Ramsay sample in one of the At the Plate songs, not on this album, but on the first album, Starch Enemy, the final track. It's actually the title track for that album, but there's a 2-minute clip taken from one of the earlier Kitchen Nightmares episodes, the UK version, not the US version.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up, man.
Fox would sue my ass, but well, Disney now, but anyway. So the UK version, it's from, I think it's either season 2 or season 1, but it's episode 6, D Place, and it's where Gordon Ramsay goes off on this lying chef who like deep fried his potatoes instead of roasting them, because their oven is fucked up or whatever. And I had a lot of fun with that. So you should go check that out if you want. If you want to hear the most ambitious crossover since Marvel Avengers Infinity War, there you go.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
I'm all for that, man. And probably a lot more entertaining than Infinity War Part 2, which, oh man, well, yeah, there's a topic for another show.
Yeah, I could go on all day about Marvel, my thoughts on Marvel, but anyway.
Yeah, well, I call them fartful now, sadly, for the drop in quality. Yeah. Oh well, there goes Marvel. That was pretty much it, and sadly has been it since then. And if they destroy the Punisher and Daredevil with this new kind of reboot, anyway, I digress. So
they better not fuck them up. I mean, like the Netflix Daredevil show was masterful.
So
except
good, wasn't it?
Except for the second half of season 2, just my opinion. And the Punisher was also really good.
I did. I wasn't crazy on season 2, which I renamed the Boredom Issue as season 2 instead of the Punisher. They sadly succeeded in making the Punisher boring on season 2, which I can't believe I'm saying that about the Punisher. But hopefully
I can't remember if I saw season 2 or not. I know season 1 was good.
Season 1 was excellent. Season 2, yeah, not so much. It's coming up to the next songs then. You've got the title one, Omnivore, and then particularly a favourite, as I mentioned earlier, Roastwell 47. That is so funny. Again, just the brief about it. Roswell 47 is about a group of drunk college students trying to break into Roswell. They're kidnapped and are forced to eat extraterrestrial cooking. It's just has me laughing from start to finish. So, again, the same. How did you come up with the? You just tell us a bit about the naming process for the songs, the lyrics as well, and how you put the music together, and how you all managed to keep a straight face as well.
Well, in general, when I do song titles, it's because I want to pay homage to a certain band. It's kind of like a shout out in a sense. So I love Hypocrisy. I'm a huge fan of them. Roswell 47 is a classic, and so that's kind of where Roswell 47 came from. And I figured, it'd actually be kind of funny and interesting to make a song about eating like alien food, being forced to eat alien food. I mean, how would something like that happen? Well, it's called Roosevelt 47, so it's got to involve a government crash site somehow, some Area 51 shit. And then, of course, Mario, he worked his magic. He fleshed out the lyrics. He came up with the hilarious alien cheeks line. That was honestly one of my favorite things he's ever done. Yeah. So that's definitely one of those songs where we're just kind of having fun with it, but it still ties back to the theme of you are what you eat, just in a more funny way.
Yeah.
It's definitely like one of the least serious songs on the album. So
Yeah. So Mario, could you tell us a bit about the lyric process for this, and especially the cheek sounds?
So that one, I didn't really think about the food as much. I was like, all right, so this one's gonna happen, but like, what could be the funny thing? And I remembered that meme about like Naruto running into Area 51.
That was so fucking cringe. Oh my god.
Right. So I was like thinking about that, and like I remember like part of the meme was like, oh, you're gonna like storm Area 51 to clap alien cheeks. And like I pretty much just pulled it straight from that. But yeah, I thought that was very funny. Like and having that like regret in part of the lyrics, like we're promised alien cheeks, but there are none.
Instead, you get a mouthful of like goat tasting alien piss. Like,
yeah,
it's wild, absolutely wild.
Playing these songs live, I would imagine the reaction you will get from the audience people they're gonna fall laughing even before they get to any emotion, and announcing them live as well. I mean, God, man, you must have such a chuckle when you play this kind of material.
I can imagine like if we were to take this live, Mario might be laughing between some song announcements. Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm still kind of like working out is doing potential live performances because we all live in separate states. Mario, like you said, he's in New York. Tyler's in Michigan. I'm here in Maryland. So, we would have to coordinate. I definitely would need to hire like additional guys, to round out the live lineup, and it would be a whole process, but definitely something that's like on the table.
Yeah, and you could have so much fun taking this live as well. You could have props. You could throw bad. You could throw food at people as well. I think the aliens have just taken Mario for a second, but he will be back, folks. Maybe they're angry at us.
Not again. Jesus Christ.
I think they're angry at us for criticizing their culinary delights.
I told those bastards to stop bugging my goddamn laptop, but they don't listen.
Yeah, man. They don't. That food crosses the line. You can sneak into Roswell, whatever, see evidence of UFOs, but if you touch the food, man, if you criticize the food, I should say that's it. They don't take too kindly to that.
They're very prideful, I've noticed. I mean, they're very zealous about their cooking. It's really awkward.
It's a really close guarded secret. Yet they still want to conquer the universe with food, with their Martian crossover lunar food, and whatever else. Yes, I couldn't think of a planet off the top of my head then. One of my actual favorites y'all did on this one is Open Buffet Surgery, which is hilarious. Hilarious title, but quite a furious one as well. So again, could you just tell us a little bit about the ideas behind the title, the song, and then how you put the music together for this one as well?
Right. So Open Buffet Surgery, that's a reference to cryptopsy. Open Face Surgery from Blasphemy Made Flesh. I love Cryptopsy, so I wanted to, do a little shout out with them too. And for Open Buffet Surgery, the concept is just kind of like, it's very simple. It kind of ties to the theme of food addiction, but it doesn't take itself too seriously at the same time. It's just about a guy who goes into your local buffet and he just all hell breaks loose. He just goes straight for the food, and like he takes no edible prisoners. The chefs are just absolutely flustered, like they don't know what the hell to do with this guy. He's like knocking back plates, like basically like he's just taking in more food than they could put out, and that's what the song's about.
That would make a hilarious video as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh wow,
Good.
the aliens are really pissed off with Mario.
Yeah, I just said to Mario there, sometimes if you just leave and join again, that should work. So yeah, he's dodging the evil alien chefs at the moment, folks. But Mario will be back with us momentarily. What I like as well, though, but both y'all, is although yes, there's the comedy element, obviously with the music, but you still maintain those high mosh hallmarks of death metal as well. So it is, although it's funny, it is still a solid death metal album. The production and sound is good. It's listenable. It's not like, and I know some of these bands do it on purpose to be completely over the top. And I'm talking about sometimes, and I love this kind of music as well. I love my grindcore. But when you get some of the comedy grindcore where they purposely make it, the sound quality is so bad, it's unlistenable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man. But I noticed with this album, you've still maintained very good listenable audio with high production. So although on the surface someone might think, oh, well, this is going to be just such of a joke album, I can't listen to this or whatever. No, it's still a solid piece of death metal. So is that something you all wanted to do, was make sure the music was still accessible for people out there, for all the fans to say, look, okay, yes, we've got the parody element, but this is still a serious musical album as well.
100%. Yeah, like from the beginning, I never wanted it to just be like the gimmick and that's it. I take the compositional side of it very seriously. So does Tyler and Mario. Like that's the thing. Like I want people to like come for the laughs and the puns and stuff like that, but stay for the music. And that's what bands like Canada's Corpse and Sludge did.
Yeah,
those bands definitely were a source of inspiration for At the Plates. It's no secret, really, but and they always put like 100% effort into their music and made really solid music. And so, like I wanted to be able to do the same, like in my own way. Like I didn't want it to just be like a joke band, essentially, even though we are trying to be funny. The song titles are jokes for sure, but not the music itself necessarily.
That's what I noticed, and the reason I put that point to you is when I've come across, if you like, parody bands before, not the ones you've mentioned, you often find where the musicianship isn't up there. So once you've got over the initial laughs after a couple of tracks, there's nothing there to keep you listening. Well, that's not the case here. It's still a solid album. So the next one after that, and you touched a little bit on this earlier, incarnated syrup abuse. Yeah, obviously, again, comedy, but a serious point behind the surface. So you tell us again about, or I should say, remind us, because we did touch on this earlier, about the inspiration for the title, a little bit with the themes, and then I think the music as well, because I feel the impression I was drawing from listening, you wanted to maintain that consistency with the mosh feels as well. Even when you got to the latter part of the albums, it doesn't drop off. There's no filler, no pun intended.
Thank you. Well, that's what I was going for. All killer, no filler. Thank you. So Incarnated Syrup Abuse, definitely a shout out to Carcass. I love Carcass. And it was just one of those song titles that got a good laugh out of me. I actually tested it with some of my friends, and they got a good laugh out of it too. So I was like, okay, I can work with that. So the song itself, so it's basically like presented in a comedic way about a guy who's addicted to maple syrup, but it also like has like this undercurrent to it where it's kind of about sugar addiction and how like alcohol addiction, people will just sit and drink all day and stuff like that. It's kind of like when like the overconsumption of anything really, like especially the stuff that tastes good, can be really damaging to us. So there's that. And musically, like I wanted to go for a really melodic sound, but I also kind of had this cool, catchy, sinister riff at the beginning of it that I wanted to use. So it's kind of like I wouldn't say a bait and switch, but it's got like two different little flavors to it, which is part of what I like about the track. And also, it was one of my favorite solos by Tyler in it towards the end of the track. So shout out to him for doing that because I fucking love that solo.
Yeah, definitely for sure. That's what. Again, we're on the last part of the album, but the quality doesn't drop. So anyone out there who's maybe wondering, oh well, did they keep this consistency up? Well, the guys do. It doesn't drop off. You know, I've said this before on shows. You get some bands where you get to the latter stage of the EP or the album, and you feel they've just added a track in just for the sake of it, just to fill that album up. When I thought, well, they might as well have just kept that one off. The last two, I mean, this one. Into Everlasting Fire, play on to it, Everlasting Fire. I mean, the visual, I've got this image of a guy just over a fryer there, and something. Hilarious, man. So, again, just for us all, could you just break it down for us, just the inspiration for the name and a bit with the music as well?
So I wanted to do a tribute to Inhalation, who's they're one of my favorite death metal bands ever. Because the song after that is called Northern Freaks, I figured, it would fit well enough. So it's not really much to it. It's an instrumental. So, it's kind of like, it's meant more to like set up the following track, but I still didn't want it to be like a filler song. So I wanted to try to add like some really cool, like kind of like my take on Immolation a bit, with some like Diss of Death riffing and stuff like that. It's definitely like the least melodic song on the album because there's no melody whatsoever. It's all just chromatic riffing and dissonant chords and shit.
Yeah, it really gets you, that one, for sure. I like as well, guys, the merchandise, the way you've presented the merchandise, the knife and fork at the start and the wine, and you've even got like the album as if it's like the menu there.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Like one of the things I love about doing this band is that the concepts are like, it's really easy to work with and you can do it in a very low budget way. Like the picture that I took with me, like with the croissant on the plate, that was taken on my back porch, like my back deck. We have like an exposed brick wall. So it was like, oh, this looks like a cute little like outdoor pizzeria in Italy or some shit. So, we worked with that. And then, Tyler, I think you took yours in your dining room, right?
Yep. And just pulled a stick of butter out of the fridge. The cat wouldn't fit on the plate.
Oh, you know what? If you go to our Apple Music page, the entire cover page is just a picture of Tyler taking the stick of butter and going And that's what people see when they go onto our Apple Music page. So that
Love
should
it.
tell you everything we're all about.
It works. It works though. I love Oh, you've got a video on your YouTube channel as well. Go and subscribe, folks. To search for At the Plate. You can follow them on there. There's a picture of you with the chef's hat on, chef's kiss.
Whoa, hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Hey, I think we're going to see this live, folks. Here we go.
Awesome.
We're going to get into character here. Yeah, we are. And we've got a first up here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Mosh souffle.
All right, I'm coming through. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Tyler. If you want to take over hosting, feel free. I'm just gonna collapse.
This isn't even my final form, dude.
So, are you? Oh man.
He's giving you a novelty apron.
Yeah.
Really? No, you know what? I actually, if like for like a live show, I thought about dressing the members up in like chef's jackets and stuff like that. And I would like wear the chef's hat like behind the drum kit or whatever. Like again, this is like one of the things I just have so much fun with this band, you know.
Do you think though, as well? Look, we're all laughing here, and don't get me wrong, I love the humor, I really do. It's fantastic, and we've talked on the serious side as well, which I definitely support and recognize. But it's also, whether intentional or not, it's a good marketing strategy as well, because people will remember. People will remember the humor, and like I said, in the previous point, because the musicianship is there, the production is there in the album, so the audio quality is good. It's not like something I'm going to laugh about, and then after a minute I'm going to forget that because I'm not going to bother listening to them again because the sound is absolutely terrible. Well, that's not the case. This is, you can say, oh man, this is like, what's that with the parody band 10 Masked Men that did all like the covers of pop songs and stuff, like death metal versions of, I think, Britney Spears and stuff like that, and they covered Ricky Martin as well, and oh man,
Ricky Martin.
Yeah, the death metal version of Living La Vida Loca. You're steering this guy grappling, it's hilarious. But like I'm saying, because the production and the sound is there, it's not at low quality, well, and the musicianship is good, well, people are going to remember not only the humor, but say, no, they're actually good to listen to as well. And again, if you all come out like dressed like how you are at the moment live, I think I'd be I'd collapse on the floor laughing, and then when someone picks me up, I can contain myself, and then obviously I can have a nice mosh too. But hell, do every interview like that now, just like that, just or just sharpen a knife and fork.
Yeah.
Yep. Something's cooking up. Oh, man,
maybe I should invest in like drumstick shaped like a knife and fork, and I can go like this in between songs. But thank you so much for your kind words, man. That's again, like I didn't want to make it like disposable, like I didn't want to make it disposable content. And so like that's again, like that's kind of like a big drive towards trying to make these songs as high quality as possible. So that way it's not just like, oh, there's nothing really here, it's just a bunch of dumb song titles, so and yeah, I hadn't really considered the marketability of it when I first started, but now like I feel like it definitely has potential. I don't want to treat it as just like a business venture necessarily, because I want to preserve the artistic value of it, especially with the songwriting. But there's definitely a lot that we can do with it, and I'm looking forward to expanding on the concept as much as I can.
I was just about to ask you that, if you had plans to expand this further, and I know the album is due, Omnivore is due for release on the 5th of January 2024. I'm just forgetting the concept of language again live on there. Awesome. So are you already planning a sequel, Attack of the Nasty Cheeseburgers, or something like that?
Well, I've got some ideas for some new songs, but I'm thinking if we're gonna do anything after this, it'll probably be another EP. Nothing quite as big of an undertaking as this one, at least right now. Um, but and we've all got some other musical stuff coming down the pipeline as well. So again, I want to give a quick shout out to Tyler's band, So Be It, and Mario's band, Rhinomanthus. Please go subscribe to their channels and everything like that, and stay tuned for more stuff coming from them. Other than that, we're just gonna continue like promoting the album, doing our social media thing, and hopefully getting some stuff together for live performances. That'd be awesome. I mean, it takes some time, but that would be great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take this shit off now because
yeah. Oh man. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. It's been, it's been hilarious. How I've managed to keep it together, I'm not not too sure, but
I'm impressed.
Oh well, thanks, man.
I thought you were gonna die of laughter, like like the Joker, like spraying his gas on people, and then they like die of laughter.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was gonna come onto the stream and you just be dead in your chair, looking like this.
Oh, Neely, but believe me, this is exactly my kind of humor. So I was like, man, but I've purposely, because as I've said, and I'm going to be some people thinking, oh, he's overselling this, but because look, yeah, it is hilarious. There is a serious message there underneath it as well. Balance with food, eating healthy, trying to keep a little more in shape in that regard. But as I've said, the musicianship is there as well. It's not just something so you're going to laugh at for 1 minute and then easily forget it. The other bands you mentioned as well, Tyler and Mario, if you're out there now, I know the aliens took him away and probably forcing him to come up with some delicacies. You're both welcome to come on with the other bands as well and can do a deep dive into the music. Break it down. I love to do that on this show with guests, nerd away on all the concepts, lyrics, themes, how people put the music together, what they're interested in, what they're inspired by. Believe me, I'm having to behave myself when I see things in the background and stuff, because I've just noticed at the top right, is that a Viking kind of head at the top right there?
It's like
Beavis and Butthead as well. Dude.
It's like Loki. My mom found it at a garage sale, basically, and gave it to me.
Man, awesome. Dude, I'm such a nerd. I see anything like that, and believe me, it's like forget what you were coming on the show. It's just like, oh, do you like this? Terrible nerd. Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, sports, all that stuff. I'm pretty much there. And there was something you mentioned earlier, Tony, and there was something that had happened in pro wrestling, and it was something to do with food. Now I've forgotten it, and I was meaning to come back and comment, but oh well, I'll probably remember it random sometime. So when I get to the end of the show, I always like to give people the opportunity to send. Well, you kind of did this, but any more shout outs to anyone at all, and any news to plug. So the floor is yours, guys.
Charlie, you want to go first?
Nope.
Well done. Great. Okay, well, I would like to give a shout out to my amazing wife, Morgan, who's been super patient with me while I've been basically up social media's ass trying to promote this album. And of course, all the recording and everything that went with that. Shout out to some of my local band homies, Mammoth Rider, Nuclear Tomb, Bowhammer. Go check all those guys out. Shout out to my old band Graythor. Shout out to my old band Unendlick. And shout out to all you wonderful boys and girls.
Yay. Eat well, folks, and eat healthy as well. Moderation, y'all out there. I do want to give a shout out to some of the cats who've tuned in live. I know there's someone just followed us on Twitch, so I want to send you a shout out as well. I've multi-streamed this at the moment. My social media side is a work in development. It's quite slow, but I'm usually just visit the Fed Up YouTube channel for all the latest news. I'm usually on here every day, folks, with some kind of music or indie film. So just support, subscribe, and you can stay up with everything that's going on. I want to give a massive shout out to Curtis as well for hooking us up. This was so much fun and hilarious as well. Thank you, all of you, for putting up with my random nerding. Shout out to Mario. I hope he's safe in the alien kitchen at the moment. Shout out to you, Tyler, and you, Tony, and you're all welcome on the show anytime.
Right.
Oh, thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.
It was a pleasure, man. Thanks so much for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Welcome anytime. So, folks, I'm going to look strange because I'm going to hit end stream, and while I wait for the delay, I'll be like doing the awkward pause, looking like as it finished. So that's the disclaimer alert again, folks. So again, I'll see you all tomorrow with, I know I'm talking to someone. I need to remind myself who that is. So see you tomorrow, folks.
Bye.